The artist landscape in this day and age can be rough. Oftentimes, it feels like an endless uphill battle for artists to get their work out there. You throw out your art on the internet in the hopes of getting any likes or feedback, but you end up with nothing. Greetings everyone, Little Laura here, and did that just sound familiar? Now, I'm not here to try and sell you the ultimate tip to getting famous on the internet. Hell, I'm not even there myself. But I have spent my fair share of time on the internet and I've noticed a new trend popping up recently, which I encourage everyone to avoid. Let's get started. I noticed it a while back when I was posting some of my art on Instagram. Underneath almost every post, the same thing over and over. Send it to this person. DM it to that profile. The simple message intrigued me, and at first it seemed personal enough to appear trustworthy. You could say I fell for it. The first time someone told me to DM some inconspicuous Instagram account, I did. I didn't know what this whole thing was about, so I just wanted to take the advice of a kind stranger. I thought that maybe someone was interested in collaborating or anything of the likes. But that wasn't the case. It didn't take long into the conversation for me to be hit over the head with their actual intentions. A paid shoutout service is what they call it. But don't be confused. You don't get paid for the hard work you put into your content. Oh no. That would be way too easy. You're supposed to pay them to have your art displayed on their million-follower accounts. Their prices made me stop and think. It wasn't overpriced, and that made me wonder if maybe sometimes a hobby could be worth investing in. If that's what everyone does, then maybe it could help me too. Maybe it could actually elevate my art and have more people see it. Maybe those nice people actually did their job and only wanted to be compensated for their time. Right? Yeah, no. I didn't take their offer for a variety of reasons. The main one being that I was too high in vitamin B to accept such an offer.
What does the B in vitamin B stand for? Broke.
The second one was me being raised to be skeptical of all kinds of offers, especially on the internet. First it was white vans, and now it's shady Instagram promoters. Society really is evolving. Lastly, there was one thing that confused me the most. We all know that copyright laws can be very complicated and differ greatly from country to country. But there is one thing that everyone understands and everyone agrees upon. If you made it, it's yours. And if someone else wants to use it, then they have to pay you. So why do I have to pay these promoters to use my art? It just seemed like an overall loss for the artist, in my eyes at least. I didn't think too much about it after declining their offer and moved on with my life. Or lack thereof. However, a few months later I came back to Instagram to try and grow my art account. And that's when I noticed how bad it actually was. At least every second post of mine was infested with "send it to them" or "DM it to those." I may have been a little annoyed, but my interest was also piqued. None of the many different Instagram channels that I've been suggested had anything to do with one another. Some were for art, and others for streaming, and for all I knew they could have been hundreds more out there. However, they all operate under the same scheme. Step 1. You DM them. Step 2. They send you their prices, which are all the same range and formatted oddly similar. Step 3. You get featured, followed, or tagged in their story, whichever package you chose. You might ask yourself, Laura, what's so bad about that? If someone wants to pay for exposure, then let them. And you'd be right about that. If you weren't so wrong. Ultimately, if a grown adult wants to spend money on something that they know all the details about, then I say let them. However, these accounts aren't just focusing on a simple transaction where every party gets what they asked for. These accounts are scamming some of these artists, And the worst part about that is that the scam isn't as obvious as an overpriced service, but way more mischievous than that. If we take a look at those big Instagram sites, their numbers might seem intimidating. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers. All their posts have thousands of likes or views. It could be very lucrative to be featured on that page and get a shout out. Or that's what it would look like on the surface. But if you take just one moment to dig a little deeper, you'll see what's actually going on. If you take a post with thousands of likes and search for the original, you'll notice that barely any of those have trickled down to the original creator. You'll also notice that none of these offers promise any likes, but they do promise one thing, often included in the most expensive package right there at the very end. They guarantee a certain amount of followers. So they can make the funny number go up, but not the other funny number. It's quite obvious that these followers aren't as organic as some of these sites claim them to be. They're the literal opposite. They're very inorganic. It's bots. It's bots! They're bots! In case it wasn't clear, these accounts just sell you bot followers. If we take a look at their client's follower list, we can also see a bunch of faceless accounts who seemingly follow thousands of people and never upload a single post. Through some of those scam accounts, I got in contact with some of their customers. I couldn't get a hold of too many of them, but those I've had the pleasure of talking to were quite clearly stating that they felt scammed and dissatisfied with their purchase. So, what now? Those creators paid for a shoutout, barely got what they were asking for, and then what? That's it? Not quite. A few customers reported something that I didn't expect. I've been told that quite a few creators got spammed by even more paid shoutout services. Even if you look at the comments underneath the main sites themselves, you'll see that even those aren't spared from an avalanche of spam. But in the end, what does it matter? It's not like it's illegal. Oh, how illegal it is. Bot followers go against the terms of service of pretty much any social media site. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, you name it. And it is not because those social media sites don't want you to have success or want to keep the small creators silent. Bot accounts access Instagram's API in a way that is against their terms of service. And since you agree to them, it goes against the contract to make use of these bot followers. And this can lead you to getting shadow banned, or in the worst case, actually getting banned. These examples happen rarely, but they can still happen. So why even risk it? Are you sure that it's worth these followers you gain? Remember when the whole internet was collectively making fun of the wannabe influencers who tried to get stuff for free by paying the providers with exposure? Why did we make fun of those people but fall for these Instagram accounts? Not only do they want money from you to pay you in exposure, but all they offer is fake and just not worth it. Ultimately, your art is your art, and your content is your content. Just like your profile is your profile. If someone wants your content, they should pay you. That's how jobs work, that's how commissions work, and that is how the art world works. So why shouldn't it be how it works for you? Don't fall for it and know your value as a creator. Stay safe and sane out there, folks.